Hello everybody, and welcome to another Minecraft Musings. It's still Friday. Had to think what day it was. It's still the same one. So, anywho, let's see. Sorry, I was just trying to figure out what I was all doing, thinking in the middle of. I was just doing the Twitters, and yeah, like I mentioned, I don't know if I actually finished the story, but basically, me and this other guy, we started off sharing offensive political memes about the other person's person. I was dissing on Trump, he was dissing on Biden. And then I said, you know what? I don't like Biden that much either. He's like, you know what? Me neither. They're both kind of trash. And I was like, yeah. I mean, those weren't the exact words, but that was basically the gist of the conversation. And that's true. That's what my friends and I talk about all the time. It's like, every time they talk to me about something creepy that Joe has done, or or there's even a rumor, it doesn't even matter if he did it or like why he did it, because again, different universes, different places, it looks bad. And if it doesn't look bad, there are people out there that get paid good money to make it look bad. Like, that's why I think every Adam Sandler and every Chris Farley movie should be mandatory. Maybe not everyone, but at least Black Sheep and Tommy Boy for Chris Farley. Then Adam Sandler, it's Happy Gilmore, Billy Madison, I want to say even a third one. Like, Eight Crazy Nights is good, but you need to watch that one like third, because that goes over the Jewish faith. And if you need to get a feel for Adam Sandler before you start. I mean, unless you're Jewish, then of course, like by all means, like then it's just review. But for people that are like outside looking in, they say that like back in the old days, like or not old days, whatever. Sorry. Um, uh, I constantly have to say I digress. It's because I'm used to talking like watching which audience I have for everything I discuss. So when I say olden days, even listening to a 90s station the other day, I feel like it's kind of like the oldies now. And that's my station. That's my decade. Like, I'm all about the 90s. So anyways, that's just kind of a thing. But um where was I going with all that? Oh yeah, politics. And so we continued to discuss this stuff after, mind you, some offensive memes. Like, I did the one where Trump's getting humped by a donkey, and then he did one where there's this lady spoon feeding a full grown adult saying, "Oh, you ripped on Trump today. Good for you." And which these things are like, especially if that's like your hero, like getting humped by an animal, like, and then of course it's when he fell. It was to make fun of Joe Biden falling, and then it was like a rebuttal, like everybody being like, "Oh, well, if Joe Biden fell, sure." And a sandbagger or whatever the case may be. People fall. I fall all the time, and I'm 35. Like, I have weak ankles from football, which I used to have to ice them after practice almost every day. Like, when they started getting really swollen and everything. And that is not what they mean when they say get buck, get swole. Like, that's just lifting weights. I mean, which we did a lot of that too. But no, my ankles were swollen like grapefruits for like, I want to say the second half of my senior season. Like, freshman, sophomore, junior. See, I had to even think back what even the years were. Jeez, and I work for higher education, but anyways, yeah, freshman, sophomore, junior, no problems. Just like had all sorts of heavy hits and middle school and elementary school. Like, I played football a lot, but because again, there's nothing to do up in Buena Vista. Like, ask Matt Stone and Trey Parker. And also, how cool would that be? Like, say I do get famous on the YouTubes, and then I'm like, yo, plus like Casa Bonita's opening up soon. I'm sure I could be a spokesperson for that. Like, if I got like they'd probably do it if I got 200 followers. Just kidding. We're not going to start ratcheting that up. I mean, I like to think that we'll get somewhere farther, but I don't know. I don't even want to place bets because it could just be like, I've been at like 100 and some for a while. But anyways, that's way too much time to find that. I don't really care. What I do care about is if Matt Stone and Trey Parker would be like, hey, that's cool. Or even if they like thumbs up the video. That's it. I don't need any more weird stuff. I won't go like stalking you or anything. I've lived here all my life except for 1 year. I betrayed Colorado and I moved to Nevada for 1 year. I almost spilled it. Who cares? I moved to Elko for a year. And that's from one white trash town to another white trash town, just changing from Colorado to Nevada. So Nevada, or no, it's Nevada. At least how I heard it. I mean, I could be wrong. I think it's like Colorado versus Colorado. Like, they're from Colorado if they say Colorado, like it's red. See, again, 90s. We also say like Fort Ballins and Ballerado or Ballerado. But then you got to be careful because then we do have some Crips and Bloods type stuff going on. And I've actually heard that it's been getting more violent down in Denver, and which is just sad because, again, I feel like all of these problems could be solved. Well, one, with like smoke shops, although you can't do that for the youth. Sorry, like cannabis smoke shops. Now, hookah places, sure. Just a place for them. And gaming lounges. So, all right, I got this idea. And again, if you can take it and run with it, go for it. But if you get successful, maybe keep old A-Rye in mind. But I'm basically going to do a whole business plan, and these are all open source. These are all open to the public. Whoever is willing to sit around long enough and listen to a tale. Again, more Rick and Morty. Seriously, that show is like something. It's hilarious, and I am a walking billboard. Sorry, I can't help it. It's good stuff. And it's free too. You can go to Adult Swim. That's why I love it so much. I bought the first three seasons on a disc set. And then I want to buy the fourth and fifth. Honestly, I don't even know. Oh wait, that's right. We're on. I think I don't know what we're on, but I know there's at least a fourth, and that's on Adult Swim. And I've actually watched all of those, but I'm still probably gonna buy them at some point, just because I want them for record. Like I want a copy. And they show it on Adult Swim with commercials, which is how everything should be. I mean, and then you get the advertising revenue. It allows the creators to get paid and the viewers to view without having investment. And then if they want to, they should have like a tipping system or I don't know, even like they could collaborate with Twitch or YouTube and do some streaming stuff or I don't know. I mean, maybe even do requests. Like they could have character requests or something, and then you could pay like, $100 to be a brief character, and then for how long, who knows? And then you also have to, but then that leaves like a whole nother bunch of metrics for like, okay, what's too inappropriate, and like, especially if an age group, like, hey, I want you to draw my kid. Well, first off, that's fine, but your kid better not be watching Rick and Morty at least until they're like teenagers, and even then, I feel. Uh, because that's like the official time when they lose all their innocence, and that's a sad time. Like, and I'm already worried like we're getting there with grade school, but you do what you can to protect the innocence. But at the end of the day, like, you are trying to set them up for the best success that they can be. Like, treat them with respect, like adults. And seriously, that is how like I mean. How do I say this? As far as going back into parenting and stuff, like, I am more of a pushover, sure, than a no hard sell. Oh wait, hold on. Wow. Oh wow. Hmm. Okay. Sorry, I actually gotta go soon. Oh, that's 7:30. Oh yep, let's do the thing. Let's set a timer. Let's make this a 30-minute video. So what? We're at about 8 minutes, so 22 minutes from now. Oh, that's such an easier way to do it. 6:10. And that could be off by 10 minutes. Let's see. It confirms 22 minutes from now. Good. And we have yeah, that's right. Okay, anyways. Sorry. Um oh, sorry. But anyways, I just completely derailed my train of thought because I also got a text message while I was looking at my phone. But, anyways, what were we talking about? So political fixes. Like, how do we fix the political divide? There you go. And I have a whole playlist of videos where I can't remember what game I'm playing. Probably Borderlands or something. But ooh, I can actually do another run of that. But anyways, and it's where I basically just discuss like what I've seen from both quote unquote sides, like what Republicans, what Democrats generally like favor or distrust, and I go in depth with it. I'll probably have to like, I don't know, I'll take a look at them and see what I think like after these, because I still feel weird doing it now, but at least now I feel like there's a better premise where it's like, yeah, different universes, different perspectives. Like that's all it really has to be. Oh, we can get one more. Because once you realize that, then everything, literally everything becomes a little easier to understand. And like, I brought up Mike Pence earlier because I sent a bad meme to him. And not even that bad. It was just like I used a Taliban word, like calling him the Taliban. But honestly, with all the religious hardships over there in the Middle East, like that's not that far off. Like, Catholicism, Islam, like if you're too extreme with it, then it can be dangerous. And again, that probably goes back to the throughput. Like people aren't used to, actually where we got to go now. People aren't used to like this flow of information just so quickly and readily available that you got to kind of, be gentle, be patient with people, especially older people. I mean, that's one thing is like I do have a friend from Saudi Arabia and sorry, I don't want to misspeak here. I want to try to remember the story. His dad got blown up. I mean, he's fine. I think he got a broken arm, but definitely like traumatized. I mean, a bomb going off in a mosque, and like, and this is over there in Saudi Arabia, and like, it's but then you get similar stuff here, like not the same, but you know, different flavor. They've got a bunch of bombs going out, and not a bunch, mind you. Like the actual ratio, I'd like to see that before I even speak with anything on that, because the number of like mosque bombings or something like that versus like the number of shootings we've had here, I mean, it's it's I mean, besides being a wash, because that's like comparing two things that you should have zero of. Um, it's all bad. Like it's not, none of it's good. Like nothing's better than the other. I mean, but to compare too, it'd be interesting to see because we do kind of get high and mighty on, oh well, they blow up churches. Well, okay, yeah, they've got bombs and stuff, but and whose bombs too? Did we leave them? Like, do they still have our name tags on them? Like, I don't know. Like that's kind of embarrassing, but they talk about that with the Iraq War, and that's where like capitalism gets a bad name because then you're talking about profiting on war profiteering, and when you say it that way, it's like all bad. But then when you say it like, no, no, it's always bad, and it's a shame that it's even an industry, but it is. And until we get over our paranoia of each other across the ponds, it's going to happen. And also like the BRICS thing. Let's talk about India. So um, and again, I just went to India and awesome place, great people. Little annoying with like the people begging, but again, we got, homeless or people experiencing homelessness or poverty here in the States too. So that's really nothing new. If you go to the wrong city, and we were in Mumbai, we were in like one of the bigger cities. So it's like, yeah, that's natural. In fact, that's even not that bad because I just went through Portland not too long ago, and there's like tent cities and stuff of like people all like doing what they can, probably doing a bunch of drugs too, but like, and that's not a fair thing to say that just because they're experiencing homelessness they're doing drugs. However, if they're experiencing homelessness and they're not going to a shelter, then there's a good chance that they are experiencing substance abuse issues as well, which go hand in hand with experiencing homelessness. In fact, if you watch Mr. Beast's, I want to say it's his first, no, it's not his first video. It's his first charity video where he goes and he gives $10,000 to a homeless person or someone experiencing homelessness. But again, that's still a mouthful. Like, someone who's down and out. That's a better way to put it. And and that's also a more scalable way, and that's also more of a country hick way to say like, oh yeah, someone who's down and out, like But there's different ways to say these things that make just as much sense. They might not be as pleasurable to hear, in fine company with all these harumph, but again, that's faking it till you make it, just gone awry, like, and not A-Rye. Let's not get that twisted. Don't. I mean, I've gone awry several times, but let's not link my name to that. And that's also not why. Anyways, uh, sorry, I was just thinking about. I got other things going on that I need to address today. So, um, no, and actually, how are we doing on that? Because 12 minutes in, see, already I feel like we're getting a good grasp of like all of the things that I'm trying to say. And I started making three or more, yeah, whatever, a couple more Jamboards. And you can also make multiple slides within the Jamboards. Sorry, I just want to make sure my microphone is right there. um, but yeah, basically like what to do and what to know. And those are lists of like, what can we do? What can we be doing? Like the arcade idea. Like we used to have arcades all the time, and now I just don't see a lot of arcades. Or we do, but they don't have like PlayStations and computers. And, we got to face it, like that is like the future of gaming. I mean, you could still have like the big arcade style machines for a lot more money too. But also, and I think part of it is the wear and tear on the machine. So you'd have to make it a sophisticated like sign up deal where you have a scanning bracelet, and then you could scan the bracelet every time you're going to use a machine, and then you scan the machine. Um, and then just keep a log and keep someone watching over the computer lab and have a gym right next door and have a free membership to the people watching the computer lab. And so they'll be between the gym and the lab and be like, oh yeah, we're just hanging out at the lab. And then they could bring their own computer. You could do this for college kids. Like, you could have college students sitting there like, getting buck, getting swole, lifting weights, and then playing video games. Guys and gals, like get everyone involved. And I don't know, it'll take time, but it's worth looking into. And especially if you can make it into a marijuana smoke shop or a cannabis smoke shop, like, because then if you can serve cannabis on premise, then oh my gosh. And provide transportation too. See, that's the other thing. Like, it's still against the law to smoke and drive. And we need to acknowledge that. Like, we're not trying to provide because that's also liability too. Besides being wrong, like, you can't encourage smoking and driving. So yes, there are those problems there. But But I mean, you just handle it like you would any other place. Like limit them to like, you know, so much smoke an hour or so many. And we have it measured out to like the milligrams or micrograms. I forget which. I had a friend who worked in a dispensary explain it all to me once. But yeah, it was basically like they have it down to the milligram or something of THC to where they can measure out exactly how much cannabis you're consuming. And then same thing, you wait a time period, you know, and law enforcement should be involved in this. Like they should even like maybe routinely stop in and just say hi. And again, like that's scary for if you're stoned and a cop walks in, like yeah, that's instant, like, you know, you sober up real quick. But anyways, yeah, I guess you could just schedule a cop to come in on the top of the hour every hour, just the last 10 minutes and just say hi and then leave. And like, and then everybody just like steps up straight and like, okay, no. I mean, cause like, especially in like Fort Collins, we have like our entire city is connected with trails. And I've learned that because I've gone without a car. And again, this is why I don't really, I mean, I'm worried, please don't like try to rob me or anything or like try to mess with me or my family. But it is a possibility because, you know, internet and data and information. However, in Fort Collins, yeah, I lived without a car for a good few years and went all over the place. I went to the gym over at Campus West. I went down to the library. I went to like, you know, because all these different reasons. And I know it can be done with a longboard or a bike, whatever is your pleasure. But I prefer longboards. I mean, it's a safety thing. Like if you're on a bike, you're kind of committed. Like you're going to get hit if you're going to get hit. But on a longboard and a car comes at you, you can step off the longboard and kind of walk away. So although the downside in Fort Collins, you can get pulled over riding your longboard in the street, which is annoying, but they call it a toy, and it is classified as like a toy or like a personal device, not a vehicle. It doesn't have a vehicle classification, and that's where like, yeah, let's push them. Let's go. Did that work? No, maybe. There we go. Anyways, and then once the llama hits one of these powered reels, then it takes off. But look at him; he's so happy. He hasn't complained or tried to spit once. I wonder if there is a happy meter. And same thing, like with punching dolphins. Like I don't do it because I'm worried about, well, one, it seems messed up. And like even this is kind of messed up because this llama doesn't go eat, doesn't, you know, use the bathroom, doesn't, you know, whatever, call of nature, whatever you want to call it. Uh, you know, same with, well, okay. This is a game. And we're just assuming that the llama is self-sufficient when it's out of sight, out of mind. You know, the object permanence that we talk about, which unfortunately happens with adults. But sorry, we got way off the track. Let's see. Smoke shops. Just as an alternative to bars would make communities safer, and it's still illegal as far as I know. I haven't heard of anything. And we used to have a magazine at CSU called The Rooster. It wasn't sponsored by CSU, mind you, but it was like available on campus. And so, anyways, uh, huh. Sorry, actually, now I'm all worried. I'll explain one of these days, perhaps, but probably not. Let's actually just go ahead and put the seeds back there, and then, um, anyways, yeah. We were talking politics and stuff. So if you, oh yeah, this was the idea of politics too, since I don't think I actually got to it. But if you take away money from campaigning, you just ban it outright, and then you make it to where they have to do town halls and they have to schedule times to meet with every district or every community, you know, and it depends on who they serve. So it's a scalable solution for all politicians to just do like an interview style online Zoom call with the country. And that way, it's free, first of all, or at least very cheap. I mean, of course, we say Zoom, but you could do Google Meets. And Google, by the way, is what I actually would prefer to use for meeting software. Oh, I don't have my water. Whatever, I'll struggle on. But yeah, so that's an easy way to take away all the ugliness from politics. It won't happen overnight, but after a while, until we get used to it, there might be some settling and some adjusting, and we need to make sure that everyone has a fair and equal access to the technology. Again, these internet cafes, maybe we could set up certain times where, like after hours, the internet cafes get repurposed into gaming cafes, but for a while they're like, for a certain time, every election, whatever, and then it's your civic duty. If you want to register to vote, you have to go and watch like a thing, and then you have to attend the town hall with whatever politician you're voting for. And oh, there you go. That's a thing. You cannot vote for a politician unless you've seen their thing. There you go. That's a good way to put like a safety catch in there. Like you cannot vote unless you attend the class with the politician. Now, right there, calling it a class is dangerous because, again, not everybody goes to school or like higher education. And so that's kind of offensive. And that's also like a cause for concern. Like, wait, anytime you're adding in extra requirements for voting, like raising the voting age, see, same thing the other way. It's like, maybe these kids have too much access to technology that they're too in tune with things, or they're just kids that can't make up their minds, whichever is your opinion. Because honestly, I wouldn't know. I know that the prefrontal cortex isn't fully developed until your mid to late 20s. However, I know that they should still have a say in politics, but they should not be able to go off to war. And that's dangerous because if a war breaks out, whew. However, that's also pretty safe if we just like, I don't know. See, that's the thing. It's like the Indiana Jones thing, like where you're trying to take the gold statue off of the pressure plate. Like, I don't know. But anyway, sorry. Now I'm like really nervous about this message that I'm supposed to get. Anyways, let's wrap it up. We got about like 10 minutes. Oh no, no, not wrap it up. Like we've been getting a lot of ground covered. So let's go back to the Jamboard. So we have the politics, and I'll put that up there, like the actual specifics. But then, like, yeah, smoke shops too, like, not to replace bars, but to remove as much of that as we can. Because they're still going to be pulling people over, and that they're still going to. I think it's because they don't really have a good test for it now, is why they don't do it. But I mean, as it becomes more and more popular throughout the country, we're going to find out ways to like measure how much is too much. I mean, I know we're going to figure that out, but like at the same time, I don't know, how do I put this? It's not like alcohol where it's directly relational. Like you can't, like with alcohol, you drink a beer, and remember I had tips training because for one of the jobs I worked at, which also gave me program management training. So that's another thing I still need to do is make the Jamboard of every training and every class that I've had like just official because yeah, and even people that don't go to higher education, when I worked over in production, producing wind turbine blades, I still got a lot of training. In fact, and then I also did a temp job over at a spice factory. Not the fake weed stuff, which I mean, a lot of people end up smoking and getting sick over because of probation and whatnot. But like, anyways, that's a whole nother topic. But substance use and substance abuse, basically, like we need to reevaluate all of that and make a much more effective approach of that. And then, yeah, like I said, I think it was last episode, get them back out, churning and burning. Like, instead of the revolving door into prison, we need the revolving door getting out of prison. Like, and make it safe, too. Like, we need to ensure that these people aren't going to, have to do anything like that. Like, yeah, they're big right now. Like, all they have to do is, like, work out and, like, think about what they've done, which is horrible. Like, I mean, even if you killed somebody, it's like, you're still, I don't know. See, that's the thing. It's like, it's hard to relate the importance of how much lifetime in prison is when when your decision maker isn't even fully developed. So take anybody that murdered anyone before 25. Like, yes, it's a tragedy. Like, we can't just allow people to go around killing people. However, like you're talking about, like they're gonna realize their mistake like within the first week of jail. Like it, and then it's just torture for eternity. And then it's like, and they're just spinning their wheels. Like, granted, I don't know. It's hard to like increase more things that they can do, but at the same time, I'm thinking like, what if we had them produce like all of our foods, at least for now, until we can get like the non-violent ones out of there. But you should still go to prison if you like hurt someone like maliciously or, like a lot of these laws shouldn't be changing. I'm just more talking specifically about non-violent offenses, and even then, like theft. We can fix a lot of that if we just provide a bunch of these things, like either for cheap or free. Like when I talk about the arcade thing, we should definitely have like a section where it's got free computers, free internet, as long as you abide by the rules. Like don't look up, no porn in public. And for that matter, maybe even, okay, so that's the awkward thing. All right, are we going to do it on this one? So you address the issues of theft by making it less likely that anyone would want to steal anything. That's actually one of my main focuses with India and scamming, like as far as one of my cybersecurity side projects. And don't worry, at the same time, I'm like trying to think of how I can offer in a non-offensive way some way to help India with their cabling management, or at least like teach them how to do it and give them the materials and the funds to do it. And not me, mind you, I don't have the money, but people I know, people that watch these videos, maybe Mr. Beast, maybe, like I'm just kidding. No, I'm gonna leave Mr. Beast alone. I keep talking about him, and I did write him a couple emails at one time, but we won't. Just kind of inquiring. But anyways, no, it's just nothing too cringe. Like just talking about trying to ship new technology to other countries, which would be really cool. But at the same time, and I will say this, every time I say something like that, I did read an article where you got to be careful donating technology to other countries because sometimes if the network isn't good, like they don't have good infrastructure for their network. And remember, we're just now fixing up our fiber optics all around the country, and like half of our country, I don't know about half, but there's a lot of our country that doesn't even have like internet. They have to have Starlink. And up until Starlink happened, like I know Buena Vista specifically, they might have had like some cable lay. Oh gosh, here's that thing. Oh, I don't know. It's where there's, well, anyways. No, that's cringe. We got 5 minutes left. Sorry, someone's adding me to a group, and like, then sorry, without giving too much information away, it was the person that I was like playing games with back, and now it's like all these people asking like, what's going on? And I think it's all blurred out. Yeah, it has to be all blurred out for the recordings, and yeah, so, ugh, it's a way to get people together and start playing, but I mean, we're gonna have to edit this anyway, so I'm gonna have to look at the last 5 minutes and see. But anyways, so this is the importance of um, protecting minors from stuff. So the internet is a dangerous place because thoughts and ideas can be shared instantaneously. In fact, right now, like I'm a little worried if they do any pictures because I think I've seen some cringe stuff coming from some of these people. Not all, and see that's the thing. It's like, and I know it's blurring it out because you can't have their names, and their names are showing up on this thing. So, that might have ruined the whole. Yep, and then there's someone saying, "Stop inviting me to this group." And so, it is a thing. Oh, and then they just added 4 more players. Okay, so sorry, I'm gonna just, I know it blurs out when I do this, but yeah, because now they're saying like, actually, whatever. I know it's blurring out the names at least, but yeah, so people, oh no, oh, okay, I will double check before I upload this and see, make sure that they're not like having the messages or something. But this is, okay, so this is a good example of like, people are being added to a group, and it's something that apparently people do on PlayStation, and then they deleted a group. Okay, so right there, I feel bad because I almost feel like they're watching this in real time, and that's why I didn't like streaming too much. But they could be watching this after the fact. So, and that's again, and I'm not trying to be mean to anybody because I get it. If you don't have a lot of friends in the group, oh, in fact, it was that. Oh, that's kind of sad now. And see, the thing is like, we need to do more big brother, big sister mentoring type things. However, we need to go about it the proper way because, like, and even that, like, it's embarrassing to say you're part of something like that. Like, not that I've ever been part of that, but I've thought about like volunteering for that. And then when you try to do something like that, you got to start thinking like, okay, well, how do they feel? Like you're trying to keep their dignity, but that at the same time address a need that they might have because their parents aren't gone. Again, probably because of prison or substance use or abuse, like, and not like because they're weak and they're abusing or using substances. No, because our society is weak, yo. No, I'm just kidding. But there's no excuse for using illegal substances. However, there's no excuse for keeping natural substances like marijuana, mushrooms, and DMT illegal, because shrooms have been proven. And that's the other thing. Like anytime I talk about them, I almost always have to follow that up with, I've seen studies from Johns Hopkins that mushrooms, magic mushrooms, yep, the hippy dippy things, can actually cure depression. That's right, cure depression for up to 6 months to a year at a time with one dose. So you're telling me this thing, like, oh my gosh, you can't fly a fighter jet. Okay, cool. And that's just because we don't trust anybody with millions of dollars of equipment or billions, whatever. I don't know how much fighter jets cost. I know I'm paying for them, but, and again, that's so much money that we could be using for, I don't know, we could give everyone in the world a car. Holy crud. Actually, yeah, we could probably do that. All right. I'm gonna go write that down and try to figure out the pricing of vehicles and how much you could do with the United States military budget and then with the world budget. And then I'll do a musing on that and show you exactly what's up with that. Because seriously, and besides the fact that everybody's like killing each other, okay, yeah, that's really bad. I mean, we're also spending out the nose to do it. And it's like, and for what? For territory? Like, this Ukraine thing just drives me nuts. But again, I get it. America did the same thing with England. Oh, and that's right, I'm full up. So let me go do that. Defense spending and relating that to the potential benefits of not defense spending. All right, until next time, hope everyone enjoys themselves and has a happy Friday. Oh, there's my alarm. Okay. All right, see you next time.